This is an old lettering system in a building my in-laws bought. It has several drawers of different colored felt letters with adhesive backs. These are heat iron-on transfers for making custom t-shirts, baseball hats, and the like. Back in the 70s and 80s, before digital printing was a thing, this was a common way for small businesses to make custom apparel. The letters are made of a flocked material, the felt, with a heat-activated adhesive on the back. You would arrange the letters on a shirt and then use a heat press to permanently bond them to the fabric. I bought this at a thrift store thinking it was a notebook, but when we opened it, the pages all fanned out. We found a USB-C port and pulled the pages off to find that behind it. What is this? I'm going to take a guess and say it's one of those decorative light-up books. These are novelty lamps that are designed to look like a closed book. When you open the cover, the pages, which are made of a foldable, translucent material like Tyvek, fan out, and an LED light inside turns on, creating a beautiful, glowing, lantern-like effect. The USB-C port would be for charging the internal battery that powers the light. My husband took these pictures at the Red River Gorge today. What is the green light? We were hiking, and when we looked after, we saw this green light. It's the reflection of the sun inside the camera. This is a phenomenon known as lens flare. When you're taking a picture with a very bright light source, like the sun, in or just outside the frame, the light can bounce around between the multiple glass elements inside the camera's lens. This internal reflection can create artifacts in the image, such as bright spots, streaks, or, as in this case, colored orbs. The green color is a common characteristic of the anti-reflective coatings used on modern lenses. What is this white plastic pan lid or piece of something? I found this in our kitchen cabinet while preparing for a remodel. It doesn't go with our food processor. This is the drip tray for a Black & Decker handy steamer, model HS80. A food steamer has a reservoir for water, a heating element, and a steaming basket. This tray would be placed at the bottom of the steamer, just above the water reservoir. Its purpose is to catch any juices or drippings from the food being steamed, preventing them from falling into the main water reservoir, which makes cleanup easier. It is a specific part from a specific vintage kitchen appliance. Found this in the dishwasher. I'm completely unsure what it could be. We don't have any gun or car parts at home. Did you wash a utensil, like a big whisk or something, where this would fit into the handle? This is likely a decorative or functional end cap from the handle of a kitchen utensil. Many utensils, like whisks, spatulas, or knives, have a hollow handle, and this piece would be the plug, or the cap, that seals the end of that handle. It can sometimes come loose and fall out during a hot wash cycle in the dishwasher. A converter of some kind? I was taking a GO train, and this was sitting on the platform. One end is USB-A and the other is coaxial. This is a USB Wi-Fi adapter, but it's missing its antenna. This is a device that you would plug into the USB port of a desktop computer or an older laptop that does not have built-in Wi-Fi. The coaxial connector on the other end is where a small external antenna would be screwed on to provide better signal reception. Without the antenna, it is incomplete, but it is a very common piece of computer networking hardware. Found in a drawer of junk. Any ideas? The Etsy link provided shows this exact item. It is a side release buckle with an integrated keyring. A side release buckle is the common type of plastic buckle you find on backpacks and straps. This one is a bit different. It is designed to be part of a keychain or a lanyard. You could attach your keys to the ring and then use the buckle to quickly clip your keys to a belt loop, a bag, or another strap. It is a piece of hardware for making a custom keychain. This is an object made of wood, found in my grandmother's drawer. What is it? It's a darning mushroom. It is a tool used for mending holes in socks or other knitted garments, a process called darning. The sock would be stretched over the smooth, curved head of the mushroom. This provides a solid, curved surface to work on, making it much easier to weave the darning thread back and forth across the hole to repair it. The handle is for holding the tool securely inside the sock. It is a classic and essential tool from a traditional sewing basket. What kind of land animal has teeth like this? It was found along with some large vertebrae and smaller bone fragments on a hiking trail in Tuolumne County, CA. None. It's not a tooth. It's a distal phalanx from a small artiodactyl. A phalanx is a bone of the finger or toe. The distal phalanx is the one at the very tip. An artiodactyl is an even-toed ungulate, such as a deer, a goat, or a sheep. This is the bone from the very tip of the toe of one of these animals, which would be inside the hoof. Its shape can be mistaken for a tooth, but it is actually a foot bone. These are little gray sticks that I keep finding under my chairs. For the past few months, I have been repeatedly finding them under my patio chairs out the back door. Do you happen to have a magnetic curtain door on the patio? This is a screen door that closes with magnets. At the bottom of these screen curtains, there are often small, weighted plastic or metal sticks sewn into the hem. Their purpose is to provide some weight to keep the screen hanging straight and to help it close properly. If there is a small tear or a hole in the bottom of the screen, these small weights can fall out, which is likely where these are coming from. I found this in our ceiling. What is it? The golf ball cracked as if there is something in it. It doesn't feel like a golf ball, though. There was a bunch of other random objects. It's an old golf ball that has a fine rubber elastic wrapped around a hard rubber core. This was the standard construction for golf balls for many decades before modern solid core balls became the norm. The outer cover has degraded and cracked, revealing the tightly wound rubber bands inside that surrounded the small central core. The other item, the jar, is probably model car paint. These are just some old items that were likely stored in the attic and forgotten. Found in my backyard. What is it? Google says this is an advanced termite bait station spider access tool. A termite bait station is a device that is placed in the ground around a house. This tool, with its specific key-like end, is used by a pest control technician to open the bait station for inspection and to replace the bait. It is a specialized key for a specific brand of professional pest control equipment. Found outside my car. It's a rubber stopper, found in a parking lot by my rental car. What is it? It is a tire bumper, specifically for a Jeep Wrangler. On a Jeep Wrangler, the spare tire is mounted on the tailgate. These large rubber bumpers, or isolators, are mounted on the tailgate behind the spare tire. Their purpose is to press firmly against the tire, preventing it from vibrating and rattling as the vehicle is driven. This is one of those bumpers that has fallen off. Found this between my washer and dryer. It's sticky and small and shiny, a circuit of some kind. It is just a retail RFID security tag. These are disposable adhesive-backed electronic article surveillance, EAS, tags. Stores stick them on merchandise to prevent shoplifting. If the tag is not deactivated at the checkout, it will trigger an alarm at the store's exit. It probably came off a piece of clothing or another item during a wash cycle and ended up between your washer and dryer. It is a very common piece of retail packaging. Found at my cabin. What are they? This is an old cabin in the mountains. I found these and thought maybe they were used to tie drapes back from the window. Your guess is correct. These are curtain tiebacks, but they are likely missing some wooden parts. The ornate metal pieces would have been mounted on the wall next to the window. They would have originally had a matching wooden or metal arm that would swing out to hold the curtain in the open position, or the curtain would have been looped directly over these hooks. The threaded piece on one suggests a more complex assembly that is now incomplete. What is this? I saw it in a thrift shop. This appears to be a replica of a Native American-style ball-headed war club. These clubs, with a wooden handle and a spherical stone, or wooden head, were a traditional weapon used by many different Native American tribes. This one, with its decorative elements and modern finish, is likely a modern replica or a piece of tourist art, rather than a genuine historical artifact. The link shows similar replicas sold online. Found in my uncle's giant pile of art supplies and woodworking tools. It feels kind of like a very smooth pumice stone. It can't be scratched with a fingernail. I have one that looks like that, but it's dark gray. Ours sharpens knives. This is a sharpening stone, also known as a whetstone or an oil stone. It is a block of fine-grained abrasive material used to sharpen the edges of knives, chisels, and other cutting tools. The smooth but abrasive surface is used to hone the metal edge to a fine point. Its presence in a pile of woodworking tools is a perfect fit, as sharp tools are essential for woodworking. Firearm related? This thing has been floating around my place for about a year. I had recently bought a Ruger PC carbine, but I can't find anything that matches it through searches. It is a support for a bicycle lock. This is a mounting bracket that would be attached to the frame of a bicycle. The U-lock, or another type of bike lock, would then be clipped into this bracket for transport while riding, so the rider doesn't have to carry the heavy lock in a backpack. Despite the firearm context, this is a very common accessory for a bicycle. These are attachments to this pole. There's a cluster midway and a single fixture atop. This single pole was there with all of these attachments. It's a 4G, 5G cell tower, specifically a small cell or a microcell mounted on a utility pole. The cylindrical thing at the top is the omnidirectional antenna. The cluster of equipment boxes halfway up the pole are the remote radio units, RRUs, and the baseband equipment, which handle the signal processing. These small cell sites are used to add capacity and coverage in dense urban areas where the large macro towers are overloaded or their signal is blocked by buildings. This is a little bar in my screwdriver kit. It's a super cheap precision screwdriver set. What is this bar for? You stick it through the hole in one of the screwdrivers to give yourself more leverage. The small handles on precision screwdrivers can sometimes be difficult to grip tightly enough to loosen a stubborn screw. This small metal bar can be inserted through the hole in the end of the screwdriver's handle, creating a T-handle. This allows you to apply much more torque than you could with just the small handle alone. It is a simple but effective feature. Found in a hoarder house among antiques, I have no idea what this could be. I thought it was a nutcracker, but was told no. That is indeed a nutcracker. It is a lever-style nutcracker. You would place a nut, like a walnut or a pecan, in the serrated jaws of the device, and then squeeze the handles together to crack the shell. While there are many different designs of nutcrackers, this is a very common and classic form. The person who told you it was not a nutcracker was mistaken. Found this in my apple. I was cutting an apple for my daughter today and saw this. I've never seen this before. It's called watercore. It is a physiological disorder in apples, not a disease or a rot. The semi-translucent, water-soaked appearance is caused by the sugar sorbitol accumulating in the spaces between the cells of the apple's flesh. It is often caused by changes in the external environment during the growing season. While it might look strange, it is completely safe to eat, and in many cultures, watercore apples are considered to be sweeter and more desirable. These are placed on top of my doorways. My husband and I just bought a house and moved in to find these things over the main doorways. We initially thought they were leaves or rocks. This looks like a water caltrop. It is the seed pod of an aquatic plant. The seed pod has a very distinctive, hard, and spiky shape, sometimes resembling a bull's head or a bat. In some cultures, these are used as a protective charm or a talisman. They are hung over doorways to ward off evil spirits or bad luck. The previous owners of the house likely placed them there as a traditional form of spiritual protection for their home. These are NFT tags under all the tables at Panera Bread. Why are they there? These are NFC markers, not NFT tags. NFC stands for Near Field Communication. At Panera Bread and other similar restaurants that have a dine-in mobile ordering system, you would place your order at a kiosk or on your phone, and then you would be given one of these NFC pagers. You then go to your table and place the pager on this marker under the table. This tells the system exactly which table you are sitting at, so the food runner can bring your order directly to you. This brown sludge came out of the bottom of this bottle of olive oil from Costco. It wasn't hard, and it could change shape as I poked at it. Looks like you're right by calling it sludge. In unfiltered or minimally filtered olive oil, small solid particles of the olive fruit can remain suspended in the oil. Over time, these particles will settle at the bottom of the bottle, forming a layer of sediment or sludge. While it might look unappetizing, it is a natural component of the olive oil and is not a sign of spoilage. The article linked explains this phenomenon, which is known as mortia in Italian. This is a weird knick-knack. It has a hinge like it can be opened, but is stuck shut and has no keyhole. I was tempted to get it at Goodwill and pry it open, but passed it up. The solution is an auto-moderator comment, indicating the answer was found, but is not shown here. Without a picture, it's impossible to be certain. However, a small hinged box that is stuck shut could be many things. It might be a puzzle box that requires a secret sequence of moves to open. It could be a simple trinket box where the hinge has just become corroded and seized. Or it could be a decorative item that is designed to look like a box, but was never intended to be opened at all. This was left behind at an Airbnb. It's a USB that connects to two modules with buttons and small green LEDs. One of them has a clip. I believe this is a remote control page turner for a Kindle or another e-reader. The small module with the clip would be attached to the user's finger or held in their hand. The other module would be clipped onto the side of the e-reader with its small actuator positioned over the next page area of the screen. By pressing the button on the remote, the user can turn the pages of their ebook without having to touch the screen, which is great for reading comfortably in bed. The link shows a similar item on eBay. Some kind of grinder. This is attached to the inside of the door jamb in the pantry of a 1972 house. It doesn't open very easily. This is a swing-away brand ice crusher. It is a wall-mounted, hand-cranked device for crushing ice cubes. You would put ice cubes in the top and then turn the crank handle. The ice would be fed into a set of stainless steel crushing blades, and the crushed ice would then be dispensed into a glass or a container below. These were a very popular kitchen gadget in the mid-20th century, before refrigerators with automatic ice crushers became common. Found this stuck in a tree in an old cemetery. It's potentially unrelated to the location, but I do not recognize the symbol. This looks like the old logo for the DoubleTree hotel chain. The symbol, with its two stylized trees, was the brand's logo for many years. This is likely a lapel pin that would have been worn by a hotel employee on their uniform. It was probably lost and then, for some reason, was stuck into the bark of the tree in the cemetery, where it has remained for some time. The ex of a friend left this in her garage. He was a cable security installer. Is it all useful? Sellable? Yes, you can sell it, but it isn't worth much. This is used for optimizing the signal reception for satellite dish installations. It is a satellite signal meter. When installing a satellite dish, the installer needs to aim the dish at the satellite in the sky with extreme precision. This meter is connected between the dish and the receiver, and it provides a real-time reading of the signal strength, allowing the installer to fine-tune the alignment of the dish for the best possible signal. With most people moving away from satellite TV, these older tools have very little resale value. What could have done this to my fenced-off yard? Raccoons. They're digging for grubs. This type of damage, where small patches of sod are flipped over, is very characteristic of raccoons or skunks, foraging for grubs, which are the larvae of beetles, like the Japanese beetle or the June bug. These grubs live in the soil just below the grass roots and are a favorite food source for these animals. The commenter's advice is to apply beneficial nematodes to your lawn to prevent the grub infestation, which will in turn stop the raccoons from digging up your yard. This is a UK outdoor casing. I've always wondered what this box in the street is. It's some kind of electrical encasement. These are used to store mailbags for delivery rounds. They're probably less common now since most postal workers use vans for their routes. This is a secure drop box or a storage locker for the Royal Mail. A delivery driver would drop off the mailbags for a specific route at this box, and the local postal worker on foot would then retrieve them from the box to begin their delivery round. It is a piece of logistical infrastructure for the postal service. Found this at a park. I was skating at the park and found it at the top of a ramp. It's obviously some necklace, but does anyone know what the pendant is culturally? The commenter's one-word ominous reply is hell. This is a joke. The pendant, with its dark gothic or heavy metal aesthetic, is simply a piece of fashion jewelry. It is not a specific cultural or religious symbol. The commenter is humorously suggesting that its dark and somewhat sinister design is associated with the underworld, but in reality, it is just a style of pendant popular within certain subcultures. I found this on the windshield of my car. I bought a used Mercedes 2003 C230 compressor months ago. It had this signature on the windshield. Any idea what this is or what it means? The solution is an auto-moderator comment, indicating the answer was found but is not shown here. However, a signature on a car's windshield could be several things. It might be the signature of a famous person associated with the car, like a race car driver or a designer, though this is rare. More likely, it is the signature or the logo of the glass manufacturer, like Pilkington or PPG, or it could be the mark of a specific custom car shop or a previous owner who simply signed their car as a personal touch. Is this a character from something? It came as a charm on my new Tamagotchi. It's not a character from Tamagotchi as far as I could tell. My Melody. This is a character from the Japanese company Sanrio, the same company that created Hello Kitty. My Melody is a white rabbit who wears a pink or red hood and is one of Sanrio's most popular and enduring characters. It is very common for different brands in Japan to do collaborations, so it is not surprising to find a Sanrio character charm included as an accessory with a Tamagotchi, another iconic Japanese brand. What is the red and white rectangle? The leading theory is a yeast packet or maybe a cutting board. The description just says generic holiday graphic on the American Eagle website. I think it's supposed to be a silicone baking mat. These mats, often with a red or orange border, are a reusable, non-stick surface for baking cookies, pastries, and other items. They are placed on a baking sheet, and they provide an even baking surface and make cleanup very easy. In a stylized graphic representation of a holiday baking scene, this would be a very logical item to include alongside cookies and other baking tools. Spotted at an eclectic dance spot. My guess is that it was meant to hold hot water. What do you all think? It's hanging on a wall. It's just a tank to put water in, so you have running water. The commenter's grandparents had this type of setup on their farm before getting running water. This is a simple wall-mounted water dispenser, sometimes called a lavabo. You would fill the tank with water from the top. The spigot at the bottom would then provide a simple, gravity-fed source of water for washing hands. A basin would be placed underneath to catch the used water. It is a classic piece of pre-plumbing sanitary hardware. What is this symbol? This is a light in a window. I've never seen this symbol before. It's the Crass logo. Crass was an English art collective and punk rock band that was active from 1977 to 1984. They were known for their anarchist political views and their DIY approach to music and art. Their logo, which combines a cross and a serpent coiled around it, is a very iconic symbol within the anarcho-punk subculture. The person with this light in their window is a fan of the band. What is this safe ad disclaimer on some commercials? This one was on a McDonald's commercial, but I've seen it on other ads as well. I've only seen it on the Pokemon channel. This is to signify an advertisement that is safe and appropriate for young audiences. On television channels that are specifically aimed at children, like the Pokemon channel, there are often regulations that require a clear distinction between the programming and the commercial advertisements. This safe ad, bumper, or icon is a visual cue to inform the young viewers that what they are about to see is a commercial. This is a bulldog bracket found in the basement of a 1929 home in Cleveland, OH. What is it? This is a bulldog sash balance bracket. It is part of an old window counterbalance system for a double-hung window. Instead of using weights and pulleys, some windows used a spring-based system. This bracket would be part of that system, likely anchoring the spring or the cord mechanism that helped to lift the heavy wooden window sash and hold it in place. Bulldog was a brand that made this type of window hardware. What is this creature? There are hundreds of them in my backyard this morning after a night of rain. They have come out of the dirt, I think. These are soldier fly larvae. The larvae of the black soldier fly are commonly found in compost piles and other decomposing organic matter where they are very effective decomposers. After a heavy rain, it is very common for them to crawl out of their environment in large numbers to escape the saturated conditions. While they might look a bit creepy, they are completely harmless and are a beneficial part of the decomposition process. They are also raised commercially as animal feed. Any idea what this is? I was eating some Tyson brand stuffed chicken breast and bit into something hard, really hoping it's not a bone. It sort of feels like bone is a best-case scenario. It seems like it's either a piece of bone from the chicken that was missed during deboning, Or it could be a piece of hard plastic from a piece of machinery in the food processing plant that has broken off and fallen into the product. The picture isn't really clear enough to tell for sure, but either way, it is a foreign object that should not be in the food. What's the big yellow one? The orange is there for a size perspective. Google Lens said it was a Meyer lemon, but a Meyer lemon is smaller than a regular lemon. This thing is big. This looks like a pomelo. A pomelo is a very large citrus fruit, the largest of them all, and is a principal ancestor of the grapefruit. It has a very thick rind and a sweet, mild flesh that is less bitter than a grapefruit. They are a popular fruit in many parts of Asia and are becoming more common in Western supermarkets. Its large size is its most defining characteristic. What is this wooden gizmo? It looks like a jig, but I have never seen something like this before. This looks like a leatherworking stitching pony. It is a tool used by leatherworkers to hold two pieces of leather together while they are being hand-stitched. The user would sit on the base of the pony, which holds it steady. The two pieces of leather to be sewn are then clamped in the jaws at the top. This frees up both of the crafter's hands to use a needle in each hand for saddle stitching, which is a very strong and traditional leather sewing technique. This canister of gas has a hose leading into a manhole. It's been sat out by the township for almost a year. What is it and what's the purpose? I believe it's for pressurizing phone and internet cables to keep them dry. The large, multi-pair copper telephone cables that run underground are very susceptible to water intrusion, which can cause corrosion and service disruptions. To prevent this, the cables are filled with dry, pressurized air from a nitrogen cylinder like this one. The positive pressure inside the cable ensures that if there is a small leak in the outer sheath, dry air will leak out, but water cannot get in. What is this triangular fork? I have found it in a kitchen cabinet and don't know what it is. It was here before I moved in. Maybe a potato fork? This is a serving utensil. A serving fork with wide, flat tines like this one is often used for serving roasted or boiled potatoes or other chunky vegetables. The wide tines provide good support for lifting the potatoes from a serving dish without mashing them. The Amazon link shows a similar example of this type of specialized serving fork. This is a metal canister on a pole. I assume it's electrical. What is it? This is a utility pole with transformers on it, and one of them is damaged and hanging awkwardly. The large cylindrical canisters on a utility pole are distribution transformers. Their job is to step down the high voltage from the primary power lines to the lower standard household voltage that is then delivered to the nearby homes. The fact that one is hanging awkwardly indicates that it has been damaged, perhaps by a storm or a vehicle impact, and it is a potentially dangerous situation that should be reported to the local power company. I found it on a door frame at a business. Anyone know what it is? This is a mezuzah. It is a piece of parchment called a klaf that is inscribed with specific Hebrew verses from the Torah. This parchment is then rolled up and placed inside a decorative case, which is then affixed to the doorframe of a Jewish home or business. It is a fulfillment of a mitzvah, a commandment, from the Torah. It serves as a constant reminder of God's presence and commandments. This is on top of a pickup truck. I've never seen this before. What is it? It's a Starlink mini-kit antenna for receiving internet from the Starlink satellites in space. Starlink is SpaceX's satellite internet service. While the standard residential dish is larger, the Mini is a new, more compact and portable version, about the size of a laptop. It is designed for users who need a high-speed internet connection on the go, such as in an RV or at a remote work site, making it a perfect accessory for a pickup truck. What Fisher-Price toy is this from? It was found washed up on Golspie Beach in Scotland. There is a hole at the top, like a pipe of something might have fitted in there. The logo looks like maybe it's from the 1970s. That's from a pop ball pusher toy, a classic Fisher-Price toy. The toy is a small, wheeled push toy. As a toddler pushes it, a mechanism inside causes colorful balls to pop around inside a clear dome, creating a fun popping sound. This is the main body or chassis of one of those iconic toys. The hole at the top is where the long handle, which the child would use to push the toy, would have been inserted. This is inside an underground train station. The black glass seems like an IR bandpass filter. I should have looked opposite of it. The finders solved it themselves. This is a Siemens PBA 1191 linear beam smoke detector. This type of smoke detector is used to protect large open spaces like atriums, warehouses, or, in this case, a train station. It works by sending a beam of infrared, IR light, from a transmitter to a receiver or a reflector at the other end of the space. If smoke enters the beam path, it obscures the beam, which is detected by the receiver, triggering the fire alarm. The black glass is indeed an IR filter. What is this on my Milky Way I just opened? This is chocolate bloom. It is a whitish or grayish coating that can appear on the surface of chocolate. There are two types: fat bloom, caused by the cocoa butter separating and recrystallizing on the surface, and sugar bloom, caused by moisture dissolving the sugar. It is usually caused by the chocolate being exposed to changes in temperature. While it might affect the texture slightly, it is completely harmless, and the chocolate is still perfectly safe to eat. Help! What is this sound? I'm home alone and heard this noise continue for around 30 seconds, then stop, then start again. I have cameras outside my home, and there is nothing on them. I know exactly what that is because it wakes me up every other morning. It's a frickin' woodpecker. The hard, rhythmic, and localized sound of something hitting wood is the classic sound of a woodpecker drumming on the side of your house. They do this for several reasons: to excavate a nesting cavity, to search for insects in the wood, or, especially in the spring, simply to make a loud noise to attract a mate and establish their territory. The sound can be surprisingly loud and can travel through the walls of the house. What was the weirdest object for you? Let me know in the comments and share this to test your friends. If you love uncovering these mysteries, hit like and subscribe. Your support helps us find more curious explorers like you. Stay curious.